Next, I'm going to show you guys how to create a custom material. So we'll look at this stone wall that we have here. Clearly, this isn't the right kind of stone. It doesn't match what falling water actually looks like. So what I've done, first thing you kind of need to do is I just went on Google and found an image of that stone. Okay. You want to find something that's pretty close to straight on, lit well, it's got a lot of contrast to it, and so you just want to crop it to as large of an area as you can get. So based on the image that I had, that's about as good as I could do, and that'll be okay. And then I took that image into Photoshop and I mirrored it 4 times. So the image is here, and I mirrored it across, and then I mirrored them down. Now the point of that is so that you don't get as much of a tiling effect when you bring this image into a texture map. What you'll notice, if you don't mirror them, you'll get hard lines every time the image goes to repeat. So because I've mirrored this edge matches this edge, and that edge will match that edge, and you won't get the hard line. What you really want to do if you want to spend more time developing a better texture map is start to remove areas like this where you can see the mirror, or things like this where it looks like things are distorted. You can copy and paste the texture onto itself and start to remove those areas. You can use the feather erase tool in Photoshop to try and do that kind of stuff. So it's just some image manipulation. But I'll provide you guys with this so you can mess around with it. So then what you're going to want to do is we'll hop back into Lumion. You go to your material editor. I'm going to select this stone material. It should automatically pop up this little menu. What we're used to seeing, if you click this little back arrow, is this menu where you can change the material. All you have to do is click the little exit library, and this menu should automatically pop up. And you can switch out the image. So there's 2 types of images here that create your texture map. You have a color map and you have a normal map. Your color map provides the color, and your normal map provides information for the bump, any depth to the material. You'll look in here, and there's a little bit of a bump relief going on, and your normal map is what tells the material to do that. So what we're going to do is you can copy and paste the material. I'm not really sure if that does anything, but then I usually just do a quick save. I'm going to save it as this stone. Click OK. We're going to start overriding these. So I'm going to click on this little choose color map. And I'm going to pick our falling water stone texture. I'm going to pick the one that I didn't modify first, just so you can see the tiling effect. So I'm going to click open. And then this normal map still represents the old texture. So what we're going to do is delete this, and then down here you'll do create normal map from color map. And we'll reset that. Okay. So what you'll notice right now is the texture map is really big. The stones are oversized. And B, you're getting this hard line where the image starts to repeat. So what we're going to do, the first thing is we're going to replace this with our mirrored or edited image. So I'm going to open that, and then I'm going to delete the normal map and recreate it. Okay, now you notice that tiling effect isn't there, or it's not as much. Okay, you still get kind of a hard line here, but it's not as noticeable. The next thing we're going to do is I'll show you guys how to modify the size of this. So we'll come down and you've got your offsets, so you can kind of move things around vertically and horizontally. I usually just keep these all at 0 though. You've got orientation, so you can rotate if you want to. Shouldn't need to though. Transparency, we won't mess around with this. Settings, you can change saturation, all those color values. Again, I usually don't mess around with these because we started off with a stone texture as a default. It's going to keep all of that information, so we can kind of just leave it as it is. Weathering we'll leave as stone. Foliage is kind of cool. You can have foliage kind of grow up your wall. And you can really start to mess around with this. Different leaf types, spread patterns and offsets. But we're going to keep all this off for now. Just know that that's an option. And then your map scale up at the top here. This is how you change the size. So obviously we don't want to go too big. If you go too small, get that effect. So we'll try and find something that's, you know, within some kind of reason, something like that. Just have to eyeball it. And you can compare it to photographs and all that kind of stuff if you really want to see it. The relief is how far off the surface this bump map spreads. So if I take the relief, I pull this up, you'll get a much larger bump versus a very flat image. Okay, you don't want to go crazy because you'll get a lot of noise. But something kind of in between. Now these stones, this particular stone pattern does have quite a bit of movement in it if you look at images, so I'm going to keep it up kind of high. And then reflectivity, I'm going to just bring that down a little bit. And same with the gloss. And we don't need to mess with colorization. So again, I'm just going to, once you have all those things set, I'm going to do save material, click OK, and then down in the bottom, click this little check. All right, so that's it. Not much going on there. You can mess around with all sorts of different texture maps and images and all that kind of stuff.